Hi, what's good, y'all? What's Ziggy zooming? It's your main man, it's Trezoom. I'm back. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded, and I know in the last video, the Mooresville game day vlog, I said I had something I wanted to sit down and talk to y'all about, and I never actually got around to doing that. This is something I've been wanting to sit down and talk, just make a video about for a minute on my channel since the beginning, really for a while now. So for most of y'all that have been watching or haven't been watching, my channel basically, everything started to pick up when I was around a freshman in high school. I'm a freshman in college now, so about four and a half years ago, I was just making skits, messing around with videos, and I uploaded a football gear video, and it just blew up. It got a whole bunch of views, and me as a freshman, I was young, and I was young for my grade, so with all that really happening that fast, I didn't handle it properly. I just say it like that. I was always a kid with a big personality, so the camera and all that, it was good, but that sometimes mixing that with football, it can just be two different things, and that's why my channel was kind of aimed towards something else before I uploaded that video. After that video got that much traction, I kind of just kept the football content coming, and not to say that necessarily wasn't what I wanted to do, but it wasn't my goal at the start. I was at Philip Berry Academy of Technology. I knew people in the comments and under that video that came across my channel. People were seeing me as a player, so they were checking my school, checking like where I went, what the record was, my stats, and asking for highlights and stuff like that. And so I knew that was gonna come more if I expected my channel to grow and continue to grow while it was growing. And I went to Philip Berry. I played football, and we were 0-10, and I knew, just as a freshman football player, that kind of traumatized me. Like, I wanted to play football, I wanted to go D1, I wanted to be at a big school, and I was getting average playing time. It was just, I wasn't really trying to lose 40 straight games, and we had two senior wide receivers, Randy White and Bryson Daughtry, and they both were like two of the top receivers in the state easily. Bryson led the state in receiving yards, but just seeing them do what they did their senior year, and they went to good schools and they're still playing, but not go to a school that they probably were good enough to go to or getting the most out of their recruitment. That kind of played a role in my decision. So I kind of after my freshman year, I decided to transfer out and leave, and take football. I was taking football a lot, extremely seriously. It was nothing before that other than really family, God, and school. The football program, we weren't what we were supposed to be. Our coach was fired halfway through the season. It was just a lot of shakiness, and for me, I acted immediately. I transferred to Huff High School in Cornelius, North Carolina. Yeah, that's where Julian went. So, and Huff is a powerhouse. I mean, we've got the most D1 recruits in the city easily, probably in the state over the last 10 years. We put guys at the next level at a high rate. When I went to that school, I knew what the program was about, and I was coming in ready to work. So when I first got there, everything was cool. I wasn't the top guy, but I had my head down putting in work. My sophomore year, I was on JV. So, I was getting a little bit of playing time, a little bit of touches, less than my freshman year. Just transferred to a powerhouse school. It's a lot of comp. We got a lot of, big name guys on our team. Just big name recruits, simple as that. So and that's what I expected there. I welcomed the competition. I enjoyed the competition. I liked how the coaches at first, when I realized, they were tough on me. They were critiquing me a lot, but that's what I came there for, and that ultimately drove me. So just adjusting to the new school and the transfer and stuff like that. Of course, the videos and the uploads started to fall off. I wasn't, as active as I could have been or should have been or even wanted to be, but I still tried to get, one or two out a month, or at least every couple of weeks whenever I could. After my sophomore year and not playing as much, I really took it, I take it serious, and I was more into I wanted to get results on the field ultimately before I was making videos and kind of flex. I don't want to say flexing, but just, you know, being all over the internet with football, and you know, I wanted it to be more of, I wanted to take it more seriously, and I was more focused on my game rather than documenting it. And that's one of the things I regret from high school. I documented a whole lot, but not nearly as much as I wanted to. After my sophomore season, going into my junior year, I moved up to varsity, barely. I remember, you know, my receiver coach, he was telling me it was between me and one other guy who was probably gonna have to play JV. You know, just going into my junior season and barely making varsity, getting 0 reps, didn't play at all. If I played my junior year, it was probably in the 3rd or 4th quarter. I remember going in once in the 2nd quarter for a drive, and that's about it. And my junior year, with that being my role on the team, I was definitely disappointed in myself and the you know, where I was at, but you know, I kind of took it in, and I self-evaluated, and I thought about it. And you know, looking at the guys we had on the team that year, we had Evan Pryor, who was a 4-star. He goes to Ohio State now. We had Antonio Barber, a 3-star. Devin Chandler, a 4-star. All on offense, like that play in my position, or you know, in my receiver group. So our running back room, our receiver room, it was deep. So I could understand, you know, why I wasn't going to be the #1 guy, and I was okay with that, but I definitely wanted to keep improving and keep getting better. I wasn't going to quit. So after my junior year, I'd say that, or during my junior year, that's really when the videos started to drop off even more, and I was here less and less and less, and I wasn't, you know, telling this story while it was happening, and I wanted to like vlog game days for y'all and do all this stuff, but it's like, if I'm not playing, like I don't have any film, any offers, like I'm not trying to be on camera with it, because this is really my dream. This is really my life. This is really what I want to do. This is really what I'm pursuing. So with it not going my way, it wasn't exactly, hey, let me record it and put it up on YouTube. That wasn't always my first priority. And I apologize to a lot of my subscribers for that. But you know, going into my senior year, over that summer, that was right when COVID hit. I just remember the work. If you go on my Instagram account, you can see some of the work. But I mean, the summer before my senior season, I don't think I could put it into, you know, perspective without documenting it on camera, how in depth we went. And when I say we, I mean just all my friends, people you've seen on the channel, Mikhail, KB, Sly, Julian. And just in the weight room and working out throughout the summer, I really tapped in and honed into who I am as a player, but not only as a player, but like as a person. Just being in a situation where I begged to be in a position at a school where, you know, I wasn't necessarily wanted or recruited or anything like that, but you know, I was fighting for reps, and I wanted my spot. And so I just didn't want to give them a reason anymore. I've been smaller than everybody since Littles League. Every competition, you know, I've never been, you know, I've always been the underdog. So none of this was new, but this was really a different kind of summer, a different kind of work. And so coming back, I wanted to just leave no doubt. I wanted not to give anybody a reason not to put me on the field or give me, you know, an opportunity. And you know, it was just crazy to me how little and how scarce the opportunities were before that point. So it definitely it drove me to a whole nother level. We at Huff, we had a whole bunch of transferring right before my senior year as well. That's one of the things about the school. It's a powerhouse, a lot of D1 guys, a lot of D1 talent, a lot of exposure, but it's a lot of transfers. So we got a whole bunch of transfers, and I'm not gonna lie, we probably would have been one of, if not the best high school football team ever in state history. Point blank period. Like, North Carolina had never seen a team like that. Our entire starting defense was on a full ride scholarship. Like, everybody was committed, D1, ready to go. And you know, when the virus hit, a lot of those guys left early, and we lost a lot of big pieces in our defense and on our offense. But you know, going into the season, if that hadn't happened, if COVID hadn't, you know, pushed our season back, I probably wouldn't have seen the field at all. It was just we had so many people that had transferred in and that were in front of me on the depth chart. Like, there was no amount of work I could have put in. Like, my coach just, like, I was not going to be put in over those people put in. So the season came around. It was pushed back to about February of this year. And so, you know, in February, or January was when we started workouts and, pre-camp and mini-camp and stuff like that. And this was, around that time, January, February, I was playing some of the best football I've probably ever played in my life. Like, I was just so obsessed with proving myself right. And not only just myself, but, it was, when I came to Huff, it was a lot of people. Like, it was just, I wanted to prove to myself that I could do this. And I was a lot of people before my senior season as well were telling me, my friends and family asked me if I wanted to transfer out or go to a different school or look at other opportunities, and I just didn't want to, just walk away like that. And transferring twice is a bad look, but that's not even necessarily what I was, that's not what I was worried about. I wanted to show that I could do what I said I came to do. And ultimately I knew I could. It was just up until that point, I didn't feel like I was getting, what I needed to get out of this experience. I was playing some good football during mini camp, just making plays, knowing my assignment, being where I'm supposed to be, leading in team drills, leading in, coming first in sprints, doing stuff like that. And I remember thinking, they're like, if I'm still not in the rotation, at least like getting any type of opportunity, reps, none of that. Come time for my senior year, I knew that it was something else in the mix. Like I knew it wasn't. It was just out of my hands. I wanted to be able to say that I had given it my all, and I knew that if it still wasn't coming after that, then I knew I kind of had done everything there was to do. But this wasn't just some situation where I was a bench guy or a 2 or a 3. I mean, it's literally, I'm not getting in the game. Like we would be up 40 or losing. I remember specifically games we would be losing by 40 or up by 20 plus, and I just wasn't going in the game like that. They just didn't, and it was always, oh, we're trying to manage the clock. We're trying to. It was, it was a little excessive. Like I might not be our best guy, but hey, I'm not just here to sit on the, just not play. So, coming out of camp, our first week, we played the worst team in our our schedule was only conference teams because we played after the pandemic or in the middle of the pandemic. So it was the worst team in our conference, and it was a rainy game. It was real muddy. We were still getting, the mesh of the team together, and we struggled badly. We ended up winning 7-0, but I didn't play that entire game. And after that, I had been, felt lost about the situation before, or where I was at, or my predicament before. But after that game, I kind of just, I knew that it was just not, it just wasn't in my favor probably, for me to be a high school football star or be that guy. When it came to high school football, it just wasn't my time. And I don't even feel like it was that I wasn't good enough or that I couldn't do it. It was just not, it wasn't in the Most High's plan. It wasn't in God's plan. So but I sent my position coach a text, and I had been holding that in for about 2.5 years, not trying to be, a selfish guy or a me guy or, putting me up above the team or the program, but just, hey, let me know what it is, because I had been at every training session, all summer. I had been up under my coaches, trying to figure out what can I do, what is it that I need to do, trying to learn the plays in and out, blocking, just going above and beyond everything I could do to get on the field, and it just was never enough. I sent him a text, and I was just like, let me know what it is, what it is I can do, like, just flat out, pouring myself out, for my passion and wanting to get on the field, wanting the opportunity to show myself for coaches at the next level, having a place to go. And he kind of just, he wasn't, it was the same old, we don't feel like you can do it. They didn't feel like I was ready. They didn't feel like I could handle that. They just didn't feel like, that I wasn't their guy. They felt like I hadn't shown them what they needed to see. So, for the rest of my senior year, that's kind of what the vibe was. I was just a guy who just, if I did play, it was late in the game, third, fourth quarter. And, it was never any, it was just, I was playing my role on the team at that point. I knew I wasn't going to be a starter, knew I wasn't going to be an impact, necessarily a big impact player. So that's how my senior year in my high school career closed out. there were a couple more games that season I didn't play at all. When I graduated or when the season was over, it was kind of just, it was bittersweet. I'll upload some of my film and show you guys, you know, what I was, the type of player I was and what I'm talking about, because I have film from practice and stuff to support everything I'm saying. But I'll upload that and show you guys, you know. But just wanted to sit down and give you guys an explanation of where I was for the last 4 years and why I was so shaky on my uploads and the content was so below, you know, below standard. And you know, this is something I really want to capitalize on, because now I am a college football player. I do play in college, and I'll be making, you know, another video about that in the future, and I'll tell the whole story about how I ended up where I am and the opportunities that I got, you know, because I'm still playing at this point, you know, because of the Most High. Ultimately, like, I give all my glory to God, because against all odds, you know, being somebody who, I was at a school where I was getting an opportunity, transferred to a powerhouse, wasn't playing at all, wasn't getting any reps, you know, for me to even be at the next level. It's a blessing, and I acknowledge that. So I'm gonna keep trying to keep y'all posted. I'm gonna try to be more active. If you made this far in the video, you know, give it a like, whatever, comment. You know, I ain't been on here in a minute, but y'all follow my Instagram, Trezoom. I hope that explains it, and I'll be back soon with a little bit more. I'm Ziggy out.